What's going on, guys? Aaron from Top Tier Gaming here, and today I am bringing you guys another live duel between my friend Mason on the left playing Invoked Dogmatika and me on the right playing Traptrix. It's been a while since we recorded this game at this point, so I do have to kind of go back and see what happened and how I remember my hands being. I remember opening really weird game 1. But I am starting things off, and I'm going to start it off with a Dianaya summon, and we're going to instantly link that off into Traptrix Sarah, of course. And I'm just going to set 4 back row. And when you look at this hand from afar, you know, Sarah set 4 seems decent, but I drew some really weird cards. So yeah, we'll see just how this goes. Mason is going to think on his play, and he's going to start off with a raw Fusion Destiny. So that tells me his hand possibly isn't the greatest. We see him pitch a Dasher from his hand. Definitely could be better. Dump the Celestial and summon Destroy Phoenix Enforcer. And Destroy Phoenix Enforcer is a great card versus back row decks in general because he is just such a good grind game in and of himself. So Traptrix struggles, so I'm going to activate Floodgate Trap Hole. And this is going to force DPE and sort of makes him choose where he wants to use his pop. He's going to pop Sarah. I think that's the right choice. And of course we did that so we can activate the Gravedigger's Trap Hole, pretty much negating DPE from coming back and tearing our board apart every turn, and putting him down to 6,000. I'm going to draw, and I'm going to set 1. Looking for a Traptrix monster here. I think Mason is also looking for a play. We're going to have a couple of turns where we just go back and forth. I actually draw Lord of the Heavenly Prison and activate him, meaning if I activate a set spell or trap card, I can actually sort of get the ball rolling, but my opening, like I said, was weird, so we're kind of in this stally position where he doesn't want to aggress towards 3 back row, and I don't want to make a play either. So he's going to pass. I'm going to draw for turn, set another back row. I'm going to activate Lord of the Heavenly Prison, and I'm going to pass. And we're heading towards a pretty complicated game state where we're both going to have a lot of cards, which, you know, could mean some pretty high chain links, and it means when someone makes a play, they're probably going for a push for game, and yeah, it could get really interesting once things pick up. But Mason deciding if he wants to make a play. He's going to attempt to pass, I believe, and I decide if I want to go ahead and make a play to sort of push the game state forward. I'm going to opt not to. Draw for turn. Hopefully we drew a monster, and we did not, so we're setting another back row and activating Lord of the Heavenly Prison. This was one of those games. You actually run a lot of monsters in Traptrix. I think I'm playing like close to 20 monsters in this deck. So when you don't see them, it's actually pretty surprising. I know when people think of Traptrix from afar, they're like, of course you're drawing back or you're playing a bunch of traps. And, well, we are playing a good amount of traps. We also run a lot of monsters. And, of course, Mason is playing, you know, Dogmatika Invoked. So he's not seeing Alistair Engine at all, which is, like, really unusual for the deck, of course. I'm actually going to flip Brigandine here, sort of try to get, you know, the ball rolling here. Because by activating Brigandine, I get to summon Lord of the Heavenly Prison and set a spell or trap from my deck. I'm going to opt to set Prosperity, so hopefully I can find a Traptrix monster. Mason's going to respond, or at resolution he's going to activate Punishment, popping the Brigandine, and he is going to send Natisse to his grave, and he's going to activate the Natisse effect targeting Lord. I just let it happen. I felt like I didn't need it, but he was at 6,000. Maybe I should have protected my Lord with one of my back row just to swing for damage, but we decided not to, and maybe that was a misplay, but yeah, I needed to keep the Gravedigger for this because he actually Ash Blossoms my Prosperity, and I didn't Gravedigger the Natisse, saving my Lord so I could make sure my Prosperity resolved, and that was the play that was going through my head, is just making sure Prosperity resolved. But I don't know, at the end of the day, Lord was 3,000 attack, and that is a lot of damage we could have been pushing, so I'm going to banish 3 here, and the reason I banished 3 is I actually drew a Prosperity for turn, which is rather unfortunate. However, off of our 3, we do find Mermelio, which is a Traptrix monster, which can help us get to exactly Traptrix Sarah, which is what we need. And at this point, you can actually kind of tell why I said my hand was weird. This list runs 3 trap holes, 2 Gravediggers, and a Floodgate, and we actually opened all 3 trap holes, which is just so unlucky. But, you know, that's the way it rolls sometimes. So we don't use our Mermelio effect, and we just swing for 800 because we did activate Prosperity, and then we make Traptrix Sarah. So we have put him at 3,200. And then hopefully he draws a play as well. The gates have kind of been opened as I don't have Lord every turn anymore. I've made a play, so now he can go and make a play as I control an extra deck monster. He's going to activate Ecclesia to special summon. And he's going to summon and activate his on-field effect, which I strike. Just in case he has a second one, he won't be able to activate the effect if I strike the in-hand effect. And he does have the second one, which was not too hard to assume because he has no Alistair. He's got to be drawing some type of cards, so it makes sense that it's Dogmatika, and Sarah's going to go ahead and be run over by Ecclesia. I'm going to draw for turn. Now, I do have that additional Prosperity, and I'm going to go ahead and activate, and I believe I banish 6. He has another Ash in which I strike because I just have to see essentially Dianaya off of this Prosperity. I think Dianaya instantly wins me the game, and anything but Dianaya is going to make it sort of even more grindy. So I'm going to go ahead and banish 6, leaving I think 3 cards in my extra deck, something ridiculous like that. We're going to reveal a bunch of good cards, unfortunately not Dianaya. And the reason it needs to be Dianaya, now that I'm sort of looking at what state of the game we're in, I drew Parallel Exceed for turn, and I've used both of my Traptrix Sarahs. So I have a Kalaria in extra deck, and the only monster that can get me to Kalaria to activate my Parallel is Dianaya. I had to see Dianaya here, otherwise we're going to stay in this game state where nothing's actually happening. I'm just going to grab Mermelio because I'm going to try to beat over this Ecclesia and sort of maintain the pressure on the board with my nice 1600 level 4 normal summon. Very powerful game state we're in. I swing, Mason's going to respond with droplets in damage step, halving my Dianaya, or my Mermelio, which is very bad for me because, you know, I didn't win the trade of battle there, and it just, oh, and he top decks Alistair. So he's going to get his engine rolling now, which I think at this point, it's pretty obvious that the Dogmatika Invoked player has more control in this duel. I really needed to win that trade and really needed to see Dianaya off Prosperity. However, we did open one of them to make our first Sarah, so there were less in deck than you would like. He's going to go ahead and do the Invoke things, turning the Alistair into Almirage, activate Invocation, banishing Alistair. And he's going to think about banishing DPE. I think he actually decides not to. He's going to look at it and say he doesn't want to do that. Yeah. He's going to return the Destroy Phoenix Enforcer to actually use Nibiru instead and make Mechabo, which I think this play just makes a lot of sense. I don't know originally what he was going for. He's going to activate Invocation Effect and decide not to activate Invocation Effect. He's really thinking here. I mean, I have one set back row. I'm at 3600, but he's really afraid of that back row, so he's got to think on how he's going to swing for game here without running into anything potentially threatening. I think he went ahead and did activate the Invocation Effect. I don't see any reason not to. He's very scared of that one card, and he's going to have the battle phase swing for 1500. He's going to attack for Mechaba, and that's going to be game. So we're going to go into game 2. Also, as far as these live duels are concerned, I do plan to do some at locals. It's just about getting a new tripod and getting a mic that works. I know the mic I'm using right now is a little weird and not that great, as I saw from my first one, but yeah, I do plan to do more of these and have some local settings, which will be nice. So I'm going to start off, and I'm going to set 5. This is a terrible opening for Traptrix. No Traptrix monster is usually pretty rough. Mason starts off with Alistair, so that's a pretty strong start, getting your Invoked engine going. And I'm thinking about how to respond to Alistair. I have a couple of ways to sort of deal with him, and none of them seemed really powerful at the time. I'm going to go ahead, and we actually did not side for these games, so this is essentially another game 1. I think one of us didn't have a side deck built. I'm going to activate There Can Be Only One, a card I would normally just instantly side out against this matchup, but there it is, opening it, very powerful. And it's not really, you know, There Can Be Only One has some implications versus Invoked. Like, he can make Almirage with his Alistair, but he can't turn the Almirage into Secure Gardener. If he uses Ecclesia to, you know, special summon and search, he can't special the Maximus he searches because it'd be 2 spellcasters. So it has a couple of like niche small interrupts, but you know, if you're gonna flip There Can Be Only One, it better be winning you the game. Like, it's supposed to be a floodgate, and here against this matchup, it's just really not. But we do see him activate, or he's thinking about activating Invocation. Of course, with no Secure Gardener, he would have to use like a light from his hand, or make Purgatrio, which, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, Purgatrio is pretty big here. But he's gonna think on his play. For the Traptrix player side, which is myself, it felt really weird to refer to myself as that way, but I guess, I need to see a monster. Like, I need to draw a non-plant Traptrix monster at this point, because There Can Be Only One is face up, which, I mean, is most of your Traptrix engine. You run 3 Mantis, 3 Mermelio. So seeing any one of those would easily get me in this duel in a position where I haven't just set 5 cards. He's going to raw activate Fusion Destiny, so deciding not to go for Invocation here, just saying that Invocation is not what he... I guess making Mechaba isn't great because, you know, he can't get to the Secure Gardener. So he's going to go ahead and dump the bricks, and Celestial and Dasher in Graveyard, and he's going to summon the man, the myth, the legend, Destroy Phoenix Enforcer, the back row deck killer. Yeah, Traptrix have a very weird... I think my phone just buzzed there, what I'm recording on, so I apologize if that made a noise. This recorder, it's got to go. I got to get a different recorder. Traptrix have an interesting time with Destroy Phoenix Enforcer because Gravedigger is actually super good versus him. But, like, that's not enough sometimes. It's a really weird matchup, and I do run Rhapsody and Berserk in my extra deck, so if I'm able to make a rank 4, I can banish the Destroy Phoenix Enforcer stuff from his grave, which is very nice. But I do like when your opponent knows you have Gravedigger, they sort of have to pop it with Destroy Phoenix Enforcer. He's going to go ahead, swing with his Destroy Phoenix Enforcer in battle phase, and then he's going to activate DPE in his end phase, to which I chain Compulsory Evacuation Device to sort of put Destroy Phoenix Enforcer back in his extra deck and get it off the field, but Destroy Phoenix Enforcer is going to resolve. He won't be so kind to pop my There Can Be Only One. He's going to pop Torrential, which is a very powerful card, a really good hit for him. But then he's going to go ahead and pass his turn towards me, because, okay, I guess he wasn't in end phase when he activated Destroy Phoenix Enforcer. Okay, no, he was. I'm going to draw, and it's not a Traptrix monster, so we're setting another back row. These last two games have just been so rough as far as seeing, like, engine. I don't know. It was definitely a rough game one in the sense that I needed sort of to have, like, a stronger opening, I think. And in this game, just not seeing a Traptrix monster. Mason's going to go ahead and activate the Prosperity, our Dogmatika Invoked player. And probably hoping to see... he has a couple of good cards you could see. Probably Nadir Servant would be one of his strongest engines. Like, he doesn't have his Dogmatika engine yet, so he's going to reveal 3, and I mean, there's Nadir Servant. I think Nadir Servant is, like, the pretty clear pick here, but I don't know his hand, so he could be thinking more on, you know, some things he might need, like Ash Blossom could be tempting, just in case I do happen to have, like, Traptrix Monster plus Parallel. He already has Alistair engine, so yeah, I'm thinking Nadir's just a very obvious pick here. I think that's 100% the pick. So he's going to grab Nadir and then think on his next play. He's going to activate Invocation, and he's going to use his Alistair for sure in Graveyard, and a Nibiru from his hand. So sending Alistair to the Banish Zone and putting Nibiru in Graveyard to make Mechaba. I'm going to go ahead and say better have it, activate a Floodgate, and he does not have a trap card to negate, so Mechaba's going to go face down, sort of removing that threat. He's going to activate the Invocation effect to bring Alistair back to his hand and normal summon it to add the Invocation. So we did get rid of the Mechaba, but, you know, a new threat has just appeared with the Invocation coming back, Alistair being just such a good, you know, normal summon the deck. I mean, that's what it's known for. So he's going to think on his next play. He has Nadir, he has the Invocation. Probably a lot of things he could do. He could be on just like one Mechaba in his extra deck. I actually don't know his extra deck, so it's been a while since the Invoked deck list has been on our channel updated. I'm currently sitting at a clean 5,500 life points though, so, you know, any powerful like swarming effects, I could be in danger if my back row aren't that powerful. But again, you know, Mason doesn't know what the back row are, and they could be blowouts, so he's going to think on his play a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and activate the Invocation. And deciding on what to use with the Invocation. Alistair and Almirage to make Purgatrio, which is pretty big. Purgatrio being 2,900 here, gaining 200 for each card I control. So 2,900 is quite big. Purgatrio is just a huge card when your opponent has a lot of cards on the field. He's going to go ahead and activate Nadir Servant. And this is, you know, really good. Nadir is just going to be like a +3 here, essentially. Natisse to add Ecclesia from his deck, and he's going to get to activate the Natisse effect to pop one of my back row. He's going to target the one closest to my extra deck, to which I activate Gravedigger's Trap Hole, which is good because, you know, it saves my back row. which, I mean, that means I'm protecting it. It could be really good. And then it also burns him for 2,000 damage, which is nice, but he's very, very far ahead in this duel. I would need a miracle draw at this point, as he just picks apart my board, and I have no engine to sort of get anything rolling, just a bunch of back row. He's going to think on his next play. It should just probably be Special Summon Ecclesia. Really thinking on what to do here. That one back row just has him sort of contemplating what his best play is. Alright, he's just going to actually enter the battle phase and swing for 1350 because he did activate Prosperity. Don't exactly know the reason he didn't special Ecclesia. Maybe he just realized he couldn't go for game after activating Prosperity, but, you know, that's makes sense. I'm going to activate Prosperity, to which he ashes, and then I just go ahead and pay the 1500 for Solemn Strike. I don't even know what card I can see here because I have no, like, even if I get to a Traptrix monster, I have no back row at this point, and there's not many cards in my deck that are really great at this point. We're going to go ahead and resolve the Prosperity, finding, you know, a few good cards, but not necessarily the cards I need. I'm going to go ahead and grab the Dianaya, which if we already had a Traptrix monster earlier, this would be a very powerful card, able to establish us like either Kalaria, which would be super amazing, but most likely a rank 4, which would be very good. I'm just going to go ahead and set the Dianaya, trying to survive here, but yeah, set Dianaya isn't exactly the strongest when you're at 2600 life points. He's going to go ahead and go through Alistair stuff and just Invoked and go ahead and pick up the game. So yeah, it's going to be a win for Invoked Dogmatika. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. We do plan on doing more of this content, hopefully once I get a better tripod and mic, and can do some more at locals. If you did enjoy, leave a like, comment, subscribe. This has been Aaron from Top Tier Gaming, and I'll see you guys next time.